All right, good morning. I'm Nick Shevchenko. This is the anesthesia machine. Well, the first thing I would recommend you doing is finding a flat, firm surface to stand it up on. It's a pretty heavy unit. It's about probably 30 pounds at least. And then I would go into the box and take out these individual hoses. You have a yellow, you have a white one, a green one. This is a manifold. This is your APL valve, and this is part of your scavenger. I would take out all the pieces, and this is part of your CO2 absorber. I would take all these pieces out and just lay them out and just get oriented with the machine as far as that's concerned. Okay, this is the first step I would do. We've put some color-coded stickers to mark some of the pieces where they should go. So this piece right here is going to sit on the inside. It has two grooves, and then there's a screw that you go for the back of the machine, and that's actually just going to hold your CO2 absorber. It doesn't have to be so critically tight here. Step two, part of your machine, this is your fresh gas flow. Again, we've color-coded it. This is a red star sticker, and it goes into your CO2 absorber, and this will go right here. It's kind of a tight fit, but they just make it that way so it doesn't inadvertently pop off. And once you get that in there, there's two holes on the CO2 absorber. The bigger one corresponds to the bigger prong here, and the small one goes here. There we go. Just make sure your fresh gas flow isn't kinked, and it's not. Alright, step three, this is your APL valve. Again, we've color-coded it. There's a locking down nut over here, and you got to unscrew that, and it mounts underneath here, and there's a tab in here, and it's just going to sit like that up against there, and then that screws down. Step four, this is your waste gas hose, and it's green, so there's a green sticker in the back here. This one goes over here. There's a green sticker over here with a elbow. That one has to go over here, and that just mounts in there. There's a scavenger system, passive scavenger system in the back here. It has a red sticker corresponding to a red sticker on the back. This kind of just sits in there, locks down, and then it doesn't move around. It's corresponding to here. This again is also a little bit of a tight fit. This hose, it's kind of a tight fit here, which I guess is good and bad, but with a little effort you'll get it on here. And then it goes to your scavenger here. And this is your passive scavenger system. During the filming of this, we didn't have an anesthesia circuit, so if you have to use a little bit of imagination here. From the front of the machine, this is going to be your standard bag that you're going to be able to ventilate the patient, and they'll breathe spontaneously. And it mounts right under here, and that's going to sit over here. This is your APL valve. This valve is not calibrated. It should be on 0, but it's not, and don't worry about it. You just have to adjust your APL valve and the pressure, and not so much on don't go so much by the valve, but go by the pressure within the bag here. So imagine there's your breathing bag is here, and then your circuit that goes to the patient comes off of here. You have your inhale, exhale, and then this would be going to the patient. So circuit to the patient, bag, and then on the back, your scavenger system is a passive system here. Again, there would be a bag. You can just use any breathing circuit bag that's old or soiled, and that'll mount on the bottom here. And the waste gases will travel down in here, and it does a pretty good job of collecting waste gases. The machine actually has two mechanisms to get oxygen. It actually has a concentrator on it, but we've never actually used the concentrator. The concentrator will suck room air, concentrate it down, I think, to 30 or 40%. I wouldn't rely on that because number one, it's battery powered, and number two, I think you're only going to get maybe 30 or 40% oxygen. So you should be having oxygen tanks The machine comes with this long oxygen hose with some pressure regulators down here in the box. You should just need this one hose. This will pop into the back here, standard, and it'll just screw on. We'll go straight to your oxygen source, whether you have pipeline or most likely off tanks. And there's no hookups for nitrous. You can hook up air, but we've never bothered hooking up air because to me it doesn't make any sense. So that's just your oxygen hookup, and that just screws right in there. And that'll be step. Once you have your oxygen tubing hooked up to an oxygen, sometimes you might need the help of a Weimaraner during the video or putting this system together. Once you get your oxygen tubing hooked up to your oxygen source, there's a button under here, and it's in the off position, and you want to just put it into it says high pressure source, and that's where you want to be. Once you push that button, you should see that you have pressure within your system here, and this will go to, I don't know, 40, 45. So, and then once you verify that you have pressure within the system, this is your flow meter here, and that we don't have oxygen hooked up, but you should be able to regulate the flow. And your breathing bag that sits down here, that should be able to fill, and you can verify, you can pressurize your system, make sure that you have no leaks. I would take a couple of breaths into your breathing circuit, make sure that your unidirectional valves are not sticking here. And the next section we'll talk about is the vaporizer here. So you'll have two vaporizers. You have an isoflurane vaporizer. It has a very specific key that sits in the bottle that'll go into here. It's pretty standard. I think everybody knows how to fill that. You just unscrew it here, plug in your key, and then open up this valve, and then the isoflurane will go in there. But there's no isoflurane in the vaporizer right now, and that's very important because you could overdose the patient. So by any chance, if there is any isoflurane vaporizer in here before you start any cases, I would turn on your vaporizer the whole way, run oxygen at a high rate of flow just to flush out all the isoflurane, and then you should be good to go. It is secured to the main unit in two sections here. You have this front section here. You got to unscrew these two bolts here. There's a plastic flange that comes out, and I would just put that to the side, and I pretty much would not use that while you're doing cases because it just kind of slows you down. The main one I would use is in the back, and there's two bolts. I would definitely use something to secure the vaporizer because it's a heavy thing and you don't want it to fall out. There's two over here. You can unscrew these. And try not to lose those. And that's pretty much, now the unit can come out easily. So when you're swapping out the vaporizers, the first step I would do is unscrew all your bolts here so that you're ready to do it. And then the next thing that you have to do is when you're swapping out the vaporizer, I would turn off the vaporizer. There's an inlet here, and there's an outlet over here. You just want to unscrew there. Then there's another one in here. And then your vaporizer is going to pop right out. So you're going to have your sevoflurane vaporizer. You'll pick it up. First thing you want to do is plug these two things in. That completes the circuit. Make sure that you have pressure within your bag. If you don't have pressure within your bag, something's not right. And then just line up your holes here. And the last thing I would do, just make sure that an important thing to do is there's a hose in here, and you want to make sure that when you're cinching it back, you're not occluding it here and you're not bending it. So make sure that this is kind of turned in so that all your hoses are running free. Okay, so this is your CO2 absorber. As you can see, it's kind of a small chamber here. You definitely have to bring CO2 absorber, and I would recommend probably changing it every day or every other day. But that's just easy to change. You would just disconnect your fresh gas flow in the back here, and then this unit just kind of pops off here, and then it has this purple disc here